Hey YouTube, it's Marida and welcome to another edition of Nurse Lounge. And in this edition, we are actually going to talk about coping with stress, anxiety, and depression while you're in nursing school. You want to see what I'm talking about? Stay tuned. And we are back. My name is Dr. Marida P. I am a registered nurse, been a nurse for 16 years, and I have a lot to say when it comes to dealing with anxiety, depression, and stress in nursing school. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. First, I forgot to tell you, I'm an OBGYN well baby nurse. I'm a nurse educator. I'm an associate professor. I teach at HBCU. What else? That sums it up. Okay, so that's that. I'm coming to you though. I do want to tell you this. I'm coming to you as a professional. I'm not coming to you as your friend. I'm not coming to you as someone who want to just tell you anything. I treat my channel, unless it's an opinion, and I'll tell you that if it is opinion, but I treat my channel as if and I protect my channel like I protect my nursing license. It's my baby. I have 4 kids that I actually birthed, and then I have my nursing license, which is my 5th child. So my nursing license I don't play with. So I don't play with my channel either. So when I come to you with different topics, depending on the topic, it's going to be something that's either going to be research based, or if it's opinionated, I will say this is my opinion. Now, this video right here is more so a mix of opinion and research, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put that right on the line. This is my opinion partially, and it's research-based to a certain degree. All right, so I've had students come to me and say, hey, I have severe anxiety, should I be taking medications while I'm in nursing school? How do you feel about that? They've asked me how I felt about that. And truth be told, it's not uncommon to have anxiety, depression, and stress, especially stress. And this is everybody. I don't know anybody, very few people of any, again, I don't speak in totality either. So I'm sure one of y'all come and say, oh, well, I know someone who wasn't stressed in nursing school. Again, they are the exception, not the rule. And I speak highly on that. I speak about the rule versus the exception because the exception means there's these factors that make that person or that situation different. And that's okay. And of course, we all don't fit into one box. So we're going to have exceptions to every rule. But for the most part, I'm speaking to the rule. And the rule is just the fact that we are going to be stressed in nursing school. Most of us are stressed. Most of us can have anxiety. And most of us can have some depression. And so what does that actually feel like? What does it feel like? What does that feel like in case you've never had any of these things before? So I want to kind of talk about each one of those. What does that feel like? And then what do we need to do about it? And then does race play an issue? I'm always going to bring about race in this. And I want to go ahead and preface this now by saying, as a ethnic minority who happens to be a part of an African-American community, mental health is a stigma for us, and we don't like to talk about it, and we don't like to deal with it. We all have that one cousin, uncle, brother, sister, mom, dad, grand, whoever, cousin who has a mental illness. We all have one in our family. And even if they're not mentally ill in terms of schizophrenia, depression, bipolar, we have the alcoholic and we have the drug addict in our family, which is part of still a mental illness component. So with that being said, we're going to have to get rid of that. We're going to have to get rid of it and acknowledge when we have feelings of certain things, when we're not feeling our best, and how to handle those things. So let's start with, I would say, the easiest one, which would be stress. Because of the fact that stress is something that everyone can, we feel it now with COVID. We feel it now with our classes. I am stressed because I have a whole lot of reports to get done by Monday. Because we have to get this data out to make sure that we are doing what we say we're going to do when we teach. So as a student, you have the stress of trying to make sure you are organized, make sure you turn your assignments in, make sure this is finals week, or finals week is coming up. If you haven't had finals, it's coming up soon, or if you're already currently in finals, and a lot of times it's comprehensive final, the whole semester you're doing, taking a test over. And that's stressful. And then of course you have 3 and 4 classes, or maybe 5 classes. That is stressful. Maybe you're in nursing school and these classes will determine if you go on to the next semester or not. That is stressful. So the one thing I've talked about time and time again, and it's normal to be stressed, and you actually want to have a little bit of stress, because if you're not, stress is kind of what pushes us to a certain degree to do the things we need to do. It makes us to a certain degree not procrastinate. Some of us are still procrastinators, which we need to get past that. But for the most part, it will definitely help us not procrastinate as much, because stress is something that says, oh, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. So I want you to know that stress is normal, and what you need to be doing is not procrastinating. You need to set time out every single day to focus on your studies. You need to do things like, here's another thing. Let's say your class is worth 2 credit or 3 credit hours. Let's say 3 credit hours. If your class is 3 credit hours, you should be dedicating roughly 2.5 times that in terms of studying for that class. So you should be roughly dedicating about 9 hours, 7 to 9 hours per week for that one class. So if you have 4 classes that is worth 3 credit hours, that's 12. So 12 times 3 is 36. So you should be actually dedicating 36 hours per week to studying, to reading, to doing projects, assignments, doing things like that. And so you can see how easily that going to school full time is a full-time job in itself, because you're not only going to class, but you have to actually dedicate time to study as well. So that's a good rule of thumb. If you're wanting to make an A in the class, this is to make an A. A general rule of thumb is that you study roughly 2.5 times the amount of credit hours the class is worth. I just rounded up to 3 because it's just a good number. So again, if the class is 3 credit hours, you need to be studying times 3, which is 9 hours per week for that class. Now, does that mean you'll study 9 hours every week? Maybe not. But for the most part, you are working on, and those 9 hours include reading your chapters. It includes taking your notes. It includes doing your homework assignments. It includes writing your papers. It includes all that. So all that encompasses your 9 hours per week in that one class. So be mindful of that. Stress is normal. What you need to do is prepare for it, though. If you're someone who is a perfectionist, perfectionists are people who typically have to do everything perfect the right way, all the time. If it's not right, they have a touch of OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. OCD is something that I think as nurses, all of us have. I have OCD to a certain degree, but I'm not a perfectionist by any means. I do like things done a certain way, but if it is what it is to me at a certain point. If you are a perfectionist, you are going to stress yourself out. I have to tell you, you are not perfect, and you will never will be perfect. Just do the best you can and keep it moving. Try not to focus on things that you cannot control. Another thing with stress and anxiety, if you can't control it, you can't control it. So, and I'm actually talking to myself right here on that one. I'm preaching to myself on that one. If you can't, I have to learn how, if I can't control it, to let it go. And I'm having a hard time. I have a hard time doing that myself. So if you can't control it, let it go. Do not let things kind of get you flustered and things like that. Pick and choose your battles. I say this all the time. Pick and choose your battles. Some things is not worth your time or energy. Let it go. This is a good time to find out who is your friends and who is your foe. If they are for you, they're going to be for you no matter what. You need to have a group of people that you can talk to, that you can vent to. Again, I've talked about mental health counseling, that they have that available at not nursing programs, but in universities, or they have them in your city or state. They have mental health where you can counsel or talk to somebody. Have that good friend that you can talk to. But I want to tell you that stress is normal, very normal. Let's go to anxiety. So what does anxiety feel like? For some people, it feels like they have palpitations. For some people, they find that they're biting their nails. For some people, some people are pickers. They start picking. They start pulling their hair. They do different things. Anxiety is with this feeling that you get that is overwhelming. And for some people, they have panic attacks when they get too anxious. That is normal, and you may have some of that in the nursing program. I think I have anxiety because of the nursing school. But it is okay. It's okay. If you happen to need medication for your anxiety, do not be afraid to take medication for your anxiety, as long as it's prescribed, number one, and you take the medication at a time that's conducive, that's not going to make you sleepy, that is going to be conducive for you to work, do clinicals and do your work. It's okay to take medication. I don't know why people think it's not okay. It is okay to take medication. If you need medication, take the medication. We want you to be mentally sound when you care for these patients. We want you to be safe when you care for these patients. So anxiety is that feeling that, we get anxious before test. Right before a test, we kind of get this nervous energy. We have to go to the bathroom all of a sudden when we didn't have to go. All that is anxiety. That is normal. Again, a little anxiety is good. Just like a little stress is good because it makes you focused. Anxiety, a little bit. Stress, a little bit, makes you focused. And when you're focused, you zone. And when you zone, you're like, I don't see or hear anything else. I got to get this task done. I got to take this task. I got to get this set of vital signs. I got to start this IV. I got to do this, that, and the other. So again, when it comes to anxiety, it is normal to have anxiety when you are in nursing school or even as a nurse. I know so many nurses who are on medications as we speak. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be on medications. If you need the medication to level you out, to make you where you can focus, where you can take care of your patients and be mentally sane yourself, where you can focus on that task, you get things done, take the meds. Take it. As a nurse, I don't push meds on anyone. But I've met people where I'm like, you, my friend, need to take the meds because you are on a whole new level when you don't take your medication. Or what I've seen where they've been off their medication, or I'm like, you take your medicine today? I have friends like that. I'm like, you take your medicine today? They're like, girl, yeah, I took my medicine. Okay, well, is it you about to start your cycle? Because you own something right now. Like, what's going on with you? And as women, we kind of go through that too. We have hormone changes, and then we have everything else going on. So don't be afraid to take meds, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to depression. Depression is this sadness. Now, I'm not saying that you are clinically depressed, meaning that you definitely have a diagnosis of depression. But I am talking about more like situational depression, where you are in nursing school, you're down, I didn't pass my test, I'm having a hard time, I'm dealing with race issues in my program, I am alone, I don't have any help, I don't have support, I don't have friends. That's more of a situational type depression that can lead to a clinical depression over time. Again, you need to talk to someone. You need to take meds if you need to take meds. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to keep in mind, mental health is your wealth. Mental health and physical wealth mental health and physical health is wealth. If mentally you're not where you need to be, we have a problem. If physically you're not where we need to be, you have a problem. Health is wealth. Remember that. What do I need to do? You need to talk to someone. You need to, and I'm going to tell you a site to go to for depression or just when you need counseling. It's called betterhelp.com. And this is something that can be done online. It does cost money, but they do have financial aid assistance for those who can't afford whatever. And you can kind of look at that. Betterhelp.com. This is not sponsored. I'm not recommending them because of the fact that they are paying me, because they are not. But I do know that it's a source that anybody can use anywhere. So like you may be, due to the pandemic, you don't want to get out. You don't want to go to an office where you have to see somebody. You want to do this from your home. So this is one website that you can go to where they will match you with a counselor. And based off of certain criteria, you can put in there, I only want someone who's a Christian. I only want someone who's a female. I only want somebody who is an ethnic minority. I only want this. I only want that. It will give you a list of things to pick from. Or if you don't care, they'll find somebody for you. So definitely don't feel like this is where you can't talk to someone. I want you all to know that, again, stress, anxiety, and depression are very common as nursing students and is very common as nurses. Unfortunately, nurses are notorious to be drug abusers, unfortunately, because we have these same stressors that carry over from nursing school, carry over into our nursing career as well. So it may not be the stress of taking a test anymore. It's the stress of now taking care of 7 or 8 patients who are COVID patients. It may not be the stress of, will I fit in? Or I'm the only minority in nursing school. It may be I'm the only minority on my whole unit and I'm being bullied. It may not be where I didn't pass that test. It may be where I didn't pass my ACLS and I can't be on the floor until I pass my ACLS. It may not be, where um you didn't get the group project, that you didn't get approved, you didn't get in on the group project. It may be that everybody was invited to something at work, but you wasn't invited and you feel some kind of way about that. That's the stuff I'm talking about. So it does carry over into the nursing world as well. So be mindful that when it does carry over, people sometimes have to have ways of coping. And with stress, anxiety, and or depression, coping mechanisms are important. And again, this is the opinion part of it. Coping mechanisms, you have to have effective coping mechanisms. I have a degree in psychology as well. I have BS in psychology. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not. I have a degree in psychology, so I definitely understand how the mind works and how we try to cope with certain things. And so when we do that, we tend to go do things we shouldn't do to cope. So for me, shopping, as you can see, I don't have my Sephora bag anywhere, but shopping is my thing. Is it behind me? Yeah. No, I don't know where it's at. But anyway, shopping is my thing. Okay. Shopping may be a great stress reliever. However, it can get you in financial debt and you can't pay your bills, or you're getting evicted because you're doing this to other people. Gamble. A lot of nurses, again, do drugs. And so drugs has never been a thing for me. So we all have our own vices. And so you'll have nurses who they're doing drugs and things like that. It carries over. So what I'm saying to you now is go ahead and feel free to go ahead and get on those medications if you need to. Your own prescribed medications, mind you. Don't be taking somebody else's medications. Your own prescribed medications. Get on those medications and level yourself out. Get yourself together. Develop healthy coping mechanisms such as exercise, yoga, walking, going to the gym, dancing. Dancing is a great way to relieve stress. Not drinking. Nurses tend to drink a lot too. And of course, you shouldn't be mixing drinking and drugs together. So don't be taking your Xanax with your wine. Okay. You're not supposed to do that. Or your, whatever you're taking, whatever you're drinking. So don't be doing that. So I'm just saying, I do want you to know that it is okay to need help, and it's okay to come to somebody and say, I need help. Due to COVID, I have seen, on my timeline, several nurses who've committed suicide because they can no longer deal with the whole COVID situation. They can't deal with the demands of being a nurse amidst the pandemic. They're having family issues. They are, I've seen when the pandemic first started, nurses were not even working. Some nurses weren't even working because they were essential, but maybe like my friend, she is a Botox nurse. So Botox is not an essential service. So therefore she wasn't working. So that was stressful to her. Now, she wasn't trying to commit suicide or nothing like that, but I'm giving you an example to say that just because you're a nurse don't mean you are working. So keep in mind, back when elective procedures were not being done, CRNAs were not working as much either. So when you have elective procedures like a hysterectomy that's not emergent, anything that was not emergent, they were not doing. So CRNAs were not working. They used to making their money. They wasn't making money. So again, you could imagine that them even being stressed, anxiety, depression, because they can't take care of themselves and their family, especially those bills are still rolling in. Okay. So keep in mind, you're gonna see these issues in the real world of nursing. So I want to go ahead and tackle those issues now. If you know that you have anxiety, if you know that you already have a diagnosis of depression and you're going into nursing school, it's going to be compounded in nursing school. So let's go ahead and take some appropriate steps now to say, okay, let me focus on working on me, my mental, my spiritual, my body, to get me ready for what I'm about to embark. Whether it means you're about to embark on nursing school itself, or you're about to embark upon your nursing journey because now you have finished, you're about to take your NCLEX and you're about to start your career as a nurse. You're going to relive and revisit these same feelings, but it's going to be for different reasons. I want you to know this is normal. This needs to be talked about, and you need to get the help that you need. So hopefully you found this video insightful. Hopefully you can take what you need out of it and leave the rest. I always say take the meat and leave the bones. If this video doesn't apply to you, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. miss me with any kind of drama, okay? If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Go to another video. But I know there's people out there, and I know for a fact because I hear people and I'm around people who all the time who are saying the issues or concerns that they have when it comes to these three things: stress, anxiety, and depression. And then not to mention when you already have mental illness anyway, you already are bipolar, you already are have anxiety, you are diagnosed anxiety. And just so you know, I am speaking of anxiety and depression that's not diagnosed. If you already have these things, you're probably already on medication. The ones who are not diagnosed, meaning that you were fine before nursing school, and now all of a sudden you're in the program or about to be in the program, you're like, why am I feeling like this? What is going on with me? Why is my heart just pounding? Why is it that I'm just on edge all the time? You're really who I'm talking to, because this is a new phenomena for you. This is something that you never felt before. And you're kind of like, why am I feeling this way? This is why you're feeling this way, because nursing school is a beast. I tell people this all the time. It is a beast. It is the hardest thing that I have ever, and I mean ever, done. Having babies, they having a baby is not easy. Don't get me wrong. But to endure 2 years of nursing school, and every single semester and day you are doing something that can make or break you in the program, that program is a beast right there. A Bachelor of Science of Nursing is one of the hardest degrees to obtain. We take more tests than almost any other program. We take more clinical hours than a lot of other programs, depending on what you're doing with the COVID situation. But in general, we take a lot of clinical hours. So with that being said, I want you to know that you are about to embark on something very difficult, and it's okay to be stressed. It's okay to have some anxiety. It's okay to feel like I'm getting overwhelmed and I feel depressed. But what are you going to do about it is the question. Do something about it. Get some help, talk to somebody, reach out to somebody. Feel free to even send me an email if you need to. I'll have it in the comment or the description below. Definitely reach out to me if you feel like, okay, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I don't know what to do, type of thing. I'm going to first say, calm yourself down, take yourself a break, and definitely see what's going on in your life. Kind of write down what is going on in my life right now that has me stressed in addition to nursing school, because a lot of times those other factors over there can impact your nursing school success too. So be mindful of that. Do I have the support that I need here at home? And if I don't, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to finish this program? Because you got to finish the program. We got to have you finish the program. But I do want to say, mental health is more important than even nursing school. So if you can't finish the program right now, something's going on where you have to kind of fall back right now, that's okay too. That's okay too. You can do it either way. Take your time if you have to. Fall back for a minute if you have to. I do want to emphasize that. I didn't think about that until just now. If you have to fall back a little bit, fall back. It's okay. Because you can get back into a program. But if you dead or you in a mental institution, you're not going to nobody's program. Think about that. So take your time. If you got to go through the program, go through the program. You need help, you need help. But if you have to fall back a little bit. Sitting down sometime don't mean you failed. It means you're taking a break and you're just processing things, and then you can move forward. Success is different for everybody. You're going to have a testimony at the end of it. So at that point in time, definitely do what you have to do. So leave me comments in the comment section. Let's like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on IG. I forget to mention that. Follow me on IG. I'll have the handle somewhere on the page. But definitely share this video. You may not need it, but somebody else may need it. And plus, we're trying to get this channel to 2,000 subscribers. And once we get it to 2,000 subscribers, I will be coming on here live, probably about once a week or so, depending on my work schedule, my jobs, and doing a live Q&A, which we will call In Session with Dr. Marida P, which I'll be answering your nursing questions. So if you want that to happen, we have to get this channel to 2,000. So do your part. All you got to do is subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video with others. It's all free. It takes minimal effort. You can do this. Thank you all so much for watching this video. And until the next time, you all take care. Bye-bye.